Hello everyone, welcome to Java Talent. So in this video tutorial I'm going to cover like one simple application, Spring Boot application, how we can doc dockerize it. So basically how we can dockerize the Spring Boot application. So you know that there is some flexibility that we can achieve when we dockerize the applications to Docker. Either it is means any one of the application, like either it is in Java or anything. So if you dockerize it, so there is some of the benefits that we can achieve. So basically if you know that like there is some dependency that we have to do. So basically there is the requirement like how we can build the Docker image and then how we can just deploy our applications to the Docker. So I'm going to cover the practical approach here in this tutorial. So if you want the theoretical approach, like what is the benefit of Dockerizing and why we are going for Docker, so you can just go through some of the other videos. I will just create it like, so basically I'm just quickly cover it practical approach. So basically Docker provides survival cost effective alternative solutions for the machines. So for example, if I am using Mac OS and if some other application is using the Windows applications, so there is the benefits that if our application is deployed on the Docker, then it will be it will be easy for us to like capture it like uh, means it offers the portability, like we do not need to much bother about the dependency of the OS and all everything. So I'm not going to much cover the theoretical portion. Okay, so I'm just going to create one simple application and then I will just dockerize it docker in the Docker. So let me start quickly. So if you see that there is one application, Spring Boot Docker demo applications. So how we can create the simple application, you know very well, or maybe you can go from my application, Spring Boot first application video tutorial, and you can understand like how we can create a simple Spring Boot application. I'm not going to cover basic details on this today video. So there is the two way, like from the Eclipse or any IDE whatever you are using, like IntelliJ or whatever. So from there itself you can just create the Spring Boot application, or there is the well defined application, web application, web URL. So like Spring Initializer to through which we can just create the Spring web application or Spring Boot application basically. So if you say that like by this way I have just created a simple application, or so you need to create like Maven project. I'm just going to create and then Java and then 3 point Spring Boot versions, and these are the project metadata, like we have to set it like group com.java talent artifact. This is my application name, so Spring Boot Docker demo application, and this is the package name. And I'm just going to create the packaging as jar. Maybe you can just go for var if you have the web application. Currently I'm using the 17th version, or in my application I will just move to the 21, and I'm just going to use this dependency like a Spring Web dependency, just to show that like one simple URL and then simple printing the message on the web browser. So this dependency you need to add a Spring Web dependency and just go ahead and generate this application. So it will create the Spring Boot Docker demo.zip file. So you can see here like already I have just sometime before I have just taken it, so that's why it is creating the one duplicate file here. So if you see that it will create the zip file, and just you need to unzip it. So in the downloads folder, so I have just given there, and you can see here like today what I have just installed, like some of the details like Spring Boot Docker and then Docker desktop. So this is the desktop application that which you can got it. So this is the Docker desktop application installer exe file, just you need to download it and then install it. So there is the two things, like your application has to be in IDs, means your laptop has to be in ID, and then Spring Boot application which you can use from the Java version, either it is 17 or 21 or anyone, and then Docker desktop to Dockerize our application. So I will go through this one later. So let's see the application. So this is the application just I have imported. If you can see here like downloads, from the downloads folder I have just unzipped it, and so you can see this one. So this is my downloads folder, that what I have unzipped it, and here you can see that my all the file is there. And just simple, you can see this is the main application. I have not done anything here. I've just created one controller package, and then in the controller package I have given one controller class, like which is Docker controller. You can see here we need to annotate this class as its controller to annotate it is our controller. And here I'm just giving the simple request mapping as class, so that I can use local as localhost 8080 whatever the port I am using. And here I'm just printing the message, Dockerizing Spring Boot application. That's it. So if I can run this application locally, so let me run it. So you can just run it, these applications. It will go for 8080 port by default. If that port is utilized by some other application, like for me, some of the times Oracle was used the same port. So if you have problem, you can just change the port number by configuring it into the application.yaml file or application dot, here you can go application.properties file. Okay. So from here you can just give the server dot port, so it will take that port number, whatever specific port you want. So if you see that my application is running on 8080, and now I am go and then let me open the new tab so that you can understand. Localhost 8080, because I have given the URL as slash only, so that's why this is taking that application. So you can see here like Dockerizing a Spring Boot application, that console message is what I have printed. It is populating over here because the simple string I am just returning from that method. That's fine. So this is the simple application, nothing else. Now I have to Dockerize this applications to the Docker. So for that you need to download that Docker here, and Docker exe file you can see here. So this is the Docker desktop installer. You can just Google it and find it, and just you can just double click on it, and then it will simply next next next, and then that's it. Now what I have to do is like once Docker is installed on your laptop, so you need to create your login to the Docker, or if I am having that, if you see here, so for me you can see I've just downloaded, and this is my username, so Java Talent. So you need to create your account by creating the username and password. That is simple, very simple. You can just go ahead and Docker desktop login. I'm just showing you because I'm already logged in. So and let me, because I have already downloaded it, so I can show you, like, 1 second, let me sign out. So it will go through the browser only, hub.docker. That thing. So I have already logged out now. So you can see all the images and then that thing, so container and all. I will let you know. So let me sign in. So first, if you sign in, you will need to take it as email ID. So this is my email ID, and then from there you can just log in using your password or whatever you have given. Or if you don't have that account, you need to just create it. So it is verifying that now I have just gone here, and I'm able to logged in here with my account. So that's it. And first time whenever you are logging or you are just downloading it Docker desktop, be patient, because to run this, if you see here left panel, engine is running. So to run Docker engine at first time, it will take around 5 minutes maybe, or means it will take some time. Okay, that is my point. You do not need to worry why my Docker is not working like that. So you need to just bear with that, because it will take some time to get it configured. Okay, so once it is configured, you just need to log in, and then now I need to deploy these applications. So for that, what I have to do is I need to go here and the Docker. You can see this is the terminal. Let me close it first. So if you open the terminal, uh, let me clear it. Okay, so once you have just right side corner you can see terminal window. So you can see that terminal, and then makes your applications from your ID where that application resides. There we need to create one Docker file in the project architecture. So if you see my application is from users Lenovo, and then downloads Spring Boot Docker demo. So at the same location my terminal is belonging from the Docker desktop. So you can see here, and I'm in the root directory of my project directory, and I have just created one Docker file. So from this root location, one more file you have to create is Docker file. So make sure that naming convention is without extension. I do not given there is any extension for this file, and the naming convention is D is capital and F is small. So make sure that it is looks like the same, and I'm using the Java 11.21. So this is the things which I have to give in it. So if you see here from OpenJDK 21 working director slash app, this is the working director from Docker, and I'm just trying to give the command copy. So copy this snapshot. I need to create the jar of my project. So I'm just giving this Spring Boot Docker demo -001 snapshot.jar, and it will be targeting from this our local to. So if you see, this is the target location. I will let you know how it will be built here. So this is the target, and then from this ones to this applications for the Docker. Docker, you are just trying to copy it, and then we are exposing the port is 8080 only, and here you are saying that the CMD will be like either it is Java jar file or my jar file. So this is the specific jar what I have mentioned here. So once you have created this Docker file, we need to make our application as jar. So for this this one we need to make our application jar. So you can just your project is Maven, so you can just go here and then ambient clean package. If you do that, so suppose you do not see this two snapshot jar in your file, because it will generate once you do the Maven clean package, then only it will generate. So you need to just do the same thing what I have done here, ambient clean package. In that case, if it will successfully gone, so it will create this file over here, to file. So this is our jar file which we are going to deploy. So you can see my application has been done successfully of this location. If you see that building the jar, if this file for example, if I am deleting this file and showing the practical things once again, so let me do it, my one clean package. So it will create the jar file for me. So once you do the same things for you also, it will generate the jar file, and that jar only we are configuring here to the Docker file. See, now it is coming build success. See, both file is generated now. So this is fine, and this is the configuration. You can just by heart, or maybe you can just go through, because it is very simple Docker file. Now if you go to the Docker desktop, here in the command prompt for the terminal. Okay, so now what I have to do is I need to go here in the Docker console for the Docker desktop, and I need to run the command to create the container. Let me see that if container is already exist. For me it is exist already. Let me delete this. So I am deleting this. So there is no any container for me right now, and no any images. Okay, one image is there. So let me delete that. So I will create one more container, and then I will go with the things. So there is the one command that which we have to run. So first time if you are going here, like for example, this is the command docker build -t, and then Spring Boot that application name. This is the Docker image basically. So this is the container that what I just wanted to create. I will paste it over here, and this dot will demonstrate that my Docker file is in the current location from where I am running this application. So if you see that, bear with me, because it took me some times to fix this issue. So if you see here, like for not one unauthorized, maybe you will get also. So what it means is like I am telling all the things from the Docker file, but I am not logged in here with my Docker login details. So you also may be facing this issue. So I have to log in. So I need to first log in Docker. It is basically Docker login -u username. So my username is Java Talent, and here I need to provide the password. So you need to provide your password, and if you did get successfully logged in, then you can just run that same thing. So see, login succeeded. Now we can run that build command. So docker build this will be create our container. See, it is started this all the things from our docker file and then doing the things. Okay, so it is successfully done, and if you see, if I can show you, okay, so one second. List container. So there is the command in listing that. So docker ps command is there, so that it will give you that list out all the container which it has been created. See, it is not created. So docker ps -a I will do. There is no any container it has been created. Okay, for now. So let me go ahead and okay, so now I have to create the docker container basically. So I have just built my applications. Now I need to create the docker. So this is the command docker run -d -p. P means port, this port which I just wanted to run on my application. This is the docker image name, docker container name, and this is the container name what I want. So if you go here and then just paste it, just hit enter. So see, this is the container which it has been created. See, now my container is listed out here. See, name of that container is, let me minimize it. Name of this container is Spring Boot Docker demo. Container ID is this one. Image is the image name what we have given as latest and things. Port is 8080, CPU utilization, and last when it has been created, started, and all details. So my container is up and running. See, simple. Now what I have to do is, you can see this is the ID which it has been generated. So for this one it has been generated just now, this ID. It is not required to copy, but just you can copy. Now I have to run this docker. So to run this docker run -p and 8080 port number and then the container name. So it will run that docker. See, that docker is okay. Field port is already allocated. Okay, it is stating that 8080 port is already a Spring Boot Docker demo. Oh, okay. Okay, fine. One second. Let me stop this and now run this. It should run. See, now if you see that application which I have hosted there in my local, now it is there in my Docker. If you see here in the image, you must see that my image is here. This is image ID. It is created 3 minutes ago, just before, and these are the size and all. And you can see the from the log here, you can see in the terminal my application is started using this jar file, this one. And now if you hit that URL localhost, you can see this message is coming from now from the Docker, because my local application is stopped. See here, my local application is stopped, but still I'm able to access that URL. Fine. So now this time our application is accessible from the Docker. If you want, you can just do one more thing here, just stop that container. Okay, now no container has been started. You can just refresh the page. You are not able to access that because our application is not running either in local or either in Docker. Now if you start that Docker, every time whenever you run this will create the new instance, and previously you can delete that because that is not used. So currently it was using this one 13 seconds ago, and now you can see if you hit this URL, see our application is completed initializing that everything. Once ever again hit you will hit that, means if you are having some logging information, and then you can just see this is working. Okay, so this is the things which I just wanted to cover in today's video tutorials. And one more thing, first time whenever you created this Docker desktop, might be you are getting some issue with that build kit, like it was stating that the build is not perfectly running or something that. So make sure this feature build kit is false, build kit is not enabled. Okay, so this is the configurations. This highlighted one is additional which I have added. So till here it was earlier, so which one I have highlighted, just I have added it to the Docker engine. So make sure that if you got some any issues during your Docker installation, and after that to put this Docker engine configurations. Yep, thank you for your time. Subscribe my channel and like my videos.